Argentinian people uses a lot of different nicknames, and here people call each other with weird nicknames that in the United States can sound really bad or informal. Some nicknames can sound extremely bad for you if you don't know our culture, if you have never been to Argentina, or if you don't know anybody from Argentina. So in this video, we're gonna find out whether or not nicknames in Argentina are racist. So if you are ready with this, let's start. First of all, here in Argentina, we speak Spanish. It is our language, but we speak something quite different than the regular Spanish. We speak Español Rioplatense, which is a dialect and it is very different to the regular Spanish. So here in Argentina and in Uruguay, we got many nicknames, and we normally use these nicknames to call friends, people that we know, or also people that we don't know, but they like to use these nicknames and they like to be known by these nicknames. It is something cultural here in Argentina, so everybody has their own nicknames, and the nickname that we choose is your main characteristic, your main feature that you have. For example, it can be your profession, something that really sticks out on you. You're fat, you're skinny, you have a big nose, you have a lot of hair, you look Russian, you look from Poland, you look gringo, as we say here, or something that you did in the past, and nowadays people knows you because of that action, because of that thing that you did. Everybody here in Argentina has different nicknames, and now we're gonna see some of these nicknames, and we'll tell you some examples. But first of all, I would like to tell you that all of these different type of nicknames, they are not racist at all. First of all, here in Latin America, and specifically in Argentina, we don't care much about racism, because we are people that we are all mixed. For example, in Argentina, we got white people, Latino people, 50-50. 50 white, the other 50 is kind of Latino, as in my case, right? I'm not completely white, I'm just more Latino, let's say. My mother is Argentinian, but my father is from Paraguay, which is a country that's next to Argentina. And one of the nicknames that we use a lot here in Argentina is the country where you are from. So for example, in case of my father, he's from Paraguay, so everybody here in Argentina, everybody calls him Paragua or Paraguayo. Two different funny nicknames, which is one is Paragua, that means umbrella. It is kind of similar to say Paraguayan, so we say Paragua or Paraguayo. Then another nickname, it can be if you're, for example, someone from Chile, we would call you Chile, El Chile, right? El Chile. Another example, if you look like Russian or Polish, people in Argentina, which is basically white and blonde hair, people in Argentina would call you Russian or Polish. Maybe you're not from there, maybe you're from the United States, so people still anyways, your friend, your family can call you like that. Normally, if you're from the United States or from Europe and you're still are white and blonde, or you speak English, I don't know, people will call you gringo, el gringo. So if you're white and blonde hair, it will be ruso, polaco, gringo, alemán as well, which is German, and with some other different nicknames as well. Another good one. If you look like Italian or your family is Italian, remember that here in Argentina we got lots of Italian people 100 years ago. It is very common to find someone who really likes look Italian. They even have Italian name and Italian surname. So for that kind of person, for that kind of people, their nickname is Tano, which is Napolitano, from Napoli, because it was pretty normal to find many people from Napoli, so we call them all Tano, right? If you look Italian, you would be Tano, or if you come from Italy, you will be Tano. People that comes from Spain, we call them all Gallego, Gallego, which is the nickname from people that comes from Galicia, which is a specific province or state in Spain. But nowadays, here in Argentina, if you are an Spaniard, we will call you Gallego, and for us, everyone that comes from Spain, they are now from Galicia, and now you're Gallego. Another example, if you look like Turkish, or your father or someone, or you just look like Turkish, we will call you Turco. Maybe you're an Arab, you're from Saudi, but it doesn't matter. You look Turkish, so we will call you Turco, El Turco. Another good one, it happens everywhere, I think. If you look from Asia, we will call you, or China, we will call you Chinese, Chino. You can even be a Latino, or you can be even white, but if you have those kind of eyes, or your eyes are the Chinese eyes, we will still call you Chinese. And that's a really funny nickname. If you're from Japan, we will call you Ponja, Ponja, which is Japón, but backwards. Ponja, Japón. Vos sos un ponja. You're a Japanese person. That's a nickname as well. And if you have family from Japan, we'll call you Ponja. Here in Argentina, we got many Chinese markets. They sell things here in my country, and it is pretty common to find a Chinese market everywhere. So here, when we say, oh, let's go to this store and buy the groceries, we just say, let's go to the Chino. Let's go to the Chinese. And that's very famous, and you will find many Chinese stores everywhere in Argentina. And we can say that that's a nickname as well, but in this case for this kind of stores, the Chinese, los chinos. Now let's do something a bit more specific, and then we'll continue with some other main characteristics or main features of your body. If you're here in Argentina, for example, and you're an Argentinian person just like me, Buenos Aires, let's say that you're from Santiago del Estero, We will call you, for example, here in Buenos Aires, we will call you Santiagueño, Santiagueño, and that's now your nickname. You're not Alan, you're not Facundo, you're not Juan anymore. Now you're Santiagueño. If you come from Cordoba and you're here in Buenos Aires, we will call you Cordobés, el Cordobés. It doesn't matter your name as well, we will call you like that, el Cordobés. You're from Santa Fe, we will call you Santafesino, Santafesina. Mendoza, Mendocino, Mendocina. From Chaco, we will call you Chaqueño, Chaqueña. Corrientes, Correntino, Correntina, and the same with the rest. Let's say that you're in the United States and you're from Florida, and then you go to New York. Everybody there in New York will start calling you Floridian or something like that. And that's what basically happens here in Argentina, and it is very lovely and funny at the same time. So nobody gets offended about it, and every single person in Argentina has a nickname. Now we're gonna start with the nicknames that refers to your body, that refers to your main features and characteristics of your body. So the most common one are when you're, for example, bald. People in Argentina will call you bald. You don't have a name anymore. Now you're bald, and everyone will call you like that. Pelado or dolape, which is backwards. Remember that nicknames are normally for family, people that you know, or your friends. Or if you want people to call you like that. Another important one, and be careful with this, because I know that in the United States, in Europe, it is totally different and it has a bad connotation. But here in Argentina and in Latin America, in all Latin America, not just in Argentina, the nickname black, which is negro, negrito, negrita with the diminutive, is not a bad word here. Nobody will get offended about it, and it is just a nickname that we call each other black. Remember that we are Latino, we're kind of brown, let's say, but if you are darker, let's say, we will call you negro. As for example, I have many people from my family that is darker than me, let's say, and they are known as black. They are known as negro, negrita, negro. And I remember that it is just a lovely way to call your friend. It's a lovely way to call a member of family. In fact, you have many, many different examples in all Latin America, and it is just a way to call people. A funny fact and a funny thing that happens here in Argentina is that sometimes we use different type of nicknames to call people in a lovely way. Like for example, when in English you say, hey buddy, hey honey, right? That's the different let's say, nicknames that you have in the United States. Well, we have exactly the same, but we just say different type of nicknames. In some specific parts in Argentina, as it can be the south or the north, some people uses negro, negrita, negrito to say buddy or honey, right? Or the same with gordo, gordito, gordita. That's the most common one, gordo, gordito, gordita. And that's basically means fat and little fat. So we use this type of different nicknames a lot in Argentina and a lot in Latin America in general as well. Remember that here in Argentina we are not that woke. And even the woke people, they say this stuff. And it's funny because it's like a contradiction as it is something cultural. People say it a lot. Even the woke people that they are against this type of nicknames and stuff like that. It's really funny to see that actually. Then if you're fat, you people, your friends, and all that kind of people will call you fat. Forget your name, you're not George, or whatever your name is, you're now fat. Gordo, gorda. In my family, I got many different relatives that they are known as gordo, negro, flaco, pelado, etc. And that's very funny, and you have to get used to it because you will have a nickname here in Argentina and just accept. If you have long hair, people will call you, for example, peluca, which is a wig, okay, one wig. For example, Milei is known as Peluca or El Loco, which is the wig or the crazy person, the crazy. Those are the two nicknames that he has. Or he's also known as the Leon, El Leon, the lion. So he has three different nicknames. So we got many, many different type of nicknames, many different types of nicknames that they all depend on your main characteristic, on your main features. If you look as a foreigner, if you look from a specific place or a specific country, if you speak English, your profession, etc. For example, in the case of profession, it will be el doctor, el profe, teacher or the professor, ingeniero, engineer, that's a nickname as well, and many, many, many more. Now, I would like to give you some examples of real people or real famous people that you can search on the internet and see more about this life, but I'm specifically gonna talk about their nicknames. Give you a list of many, many famous people here in Argentina, and you will see some real nicknames. For example, in the case of Maradona, Maradona would be El 10, El Diego, or Pelusa. El 10, the 10, because of his number. El Diego, that Diego would be that one. And Pelusa would be because of his hair. Then Juan Román Riquelme would be El Topollillo because of what he did once. Carlos Tevez, El Apache, because he came from Apache City or Apache neighborhood. Lionel Messi, La Pulga. La Pulga would be a little bug. a little back, La Pulga, Carlos Menem, he was the president of Argentina in the 90s, and he's known as El Turco, the Turkish. Martin Palermo, El Titán, the Titan, because he was really, really tall and big. Luis Alberto Spinetta, he would be El Flaco Spinetta, because he was really thin. Marcelo Gallardo is known as El Muñeco, and then we got many, many more examples. But I would like to recommend you to search them all, and here I just showed you or just told you some of the most famous ones. So this is all for this video. Remember that this is a channel for learning Argentinian Spanish and learning Argentinian culture. So subscribe to this channel if you would like to learn everything about Argentina, everything about Argentinian Spanish. And if you would like to learn more Argentinian culture, more Argentinian Spanish, and know all the important news about Argentina, you have to join to my Telegram group, which is Argentina Travelers, a Telegram community specifically for people that want to travel here. So if you would like to know more about Argentina, you gotta join there. Muchas gracias por ver y nos vemos, che. Thank you very much for watching and see you in another video. Nos vemos, chao. Nos vemos, chao, chao.